So today I'm here to talk to you about fleece for your animals, particularly for hedgehogs, because that's who I use my fleece for the most. I obviously use it for my guinea pigs as well, but this video is not about them. So I wanted to go over the pros and the cons of using fleece for hedgehogs. I've got 5 pros and 5 cons just to keep it concise, so let's get into it. So I want to start with the pros and some of the reasons why I use fleece personally, and the first reason is that particulate beddings can carry mites, and mites can be a little bit of a nightmare when it comes to hedgehogs. Fleece does not have mites. The second reason is that fleece is affordable. It's cheap. You can buy 1 piece of fleece or 2 pieces of fleece and it will still be less than a bag of bedding. The third reason, which kind of latches on to the second reason, is that you can reuse it, which furthers the opinion that it's cheap because you don't have to buy it more than once. You can buy 1 piece of fleece and wash it every time, or you can buy 2 and rotate them out. It's really great and economical in that way. Hey guys, so sorry I look a little bit of a mess. I am currently editing the video you're watching, and for some reason, number 4, the audio is messed up. So instead of sitting down and getting ready and refilming the whole thing, I just want to cut in mid-edit and tell you guys that my number 4 reason for using fleece is that it is really easy to tell if something is going on with your hedgehog. If they have a UTI and start bleeding, you can see it on the fleece. If something's wrong with their poop, it doesn't get buried in the bedding. It's a pretty significant reason, and in fact, a lot of people switch to fleece as their hedgehogs get older and are more prone to health issues. Okay, now back to the originally filmed Tori with makeup on. And then the 5th and most important reason, and the reason I use it, is it can be a more of an anxiety-free type bedding choice. Reason being that if you use particulate bedding for your hedgehogs, particularly male hedgehogs, you have to worry about things getting stuck in their penile sheaths. You have to worry about them eating certain things. I know with Carefresh there was a big scare, and yesterday's news there were a few big scares about hedgehogs eating them and getting impacted. There have been a ton of cases of male hedgehogs getting bedding, aspen shavings in particular, stuck in their penile sheaths. And while this is a risk for any type of bedding, and it generally is a relatively low risk, fleece doesn't have any of those risks, and so it is, I don't want to say it's a safer option because the other beddings are still safe, but it is a less worrisome option in that way. So those were 5 pros, and let's go on to the 5 cons. So the number 1 con of using fleece for hedgehogs is that they can't burrow on fleece, and they're natural burrowers. So you really have to compensate for this by giving them a dig box. And you guys are probably saying, but Tori, you don't have a dig box in your cage. My hedgehogs are old. If you look at some of my old cage tours, in fact, the very first video I ever posted on this channel, there is a dig box in that cage. When they were younger, they played with them. Now they don't so much. So you have to compensate for their burrowing behavior when you use fleece because they can't burrow in the fleece. So you can use things like fleece strips or paper crinkles or smooth river stones to make foraging boxes or burrow boxes or things like that, just to encourage a natural behavior in a less than natural environment. Speaking of less than natural environment, my second con is that it is unnatural, and that can be a huge con for a lot of people. A lot of people prefer to keep their animals, particularly their exotics, in completely natural setups, which is fine if that's for you. Fleece does not do that. My third con is that it can be more work. Now, unfortunately, fleece means that you have to spot clean, and if you don't use it correctly, your cage can smell pretty bad. So you have to stay on top of it. Speaking of the fact that it can smell, my 4th con is that the odor absorption, if you're just using fleece, is pretty non-existent. If you watch some of my cage cleaning videos, you know that I use an absorbent layer underneath my fleece liners. Not everyone agrees with that. Some people think that you can just use fleece, but I personally found that when I just used fleece, it stunk. So I used an absorbent layer so that I don't have to smell them, and that works for me. But it's on the con list because a lot of people do find that fleece can smell. And the 5th con is that Unlike particulate bedding, which you can throw away, fleece liners have to be washed, which means you have to use a washing machine or you have to hand wash your liners. I've had to do both and I much prefer machine washing mine, but it's important that you wash them in between use, and that can be a huge con for some people, especially minors who have to use their parents' washing machines, who may or may not want pet laundry in their washing machine. So those are some of the pros and cons of using fleece for hedgehog bedding. As always, you make your own decisions about your pet care. As long as you're using something that is considered safe, that is fine. You don't have to do what everyone else does. You don't have to do what people think is popular. As long as it's safe, I don't need you to use fleece because I use it. I'm not trying to convince you to use one thing over the other. As long as you are happy with the choice you are making for your hedgehog, that's fine. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I will see you guys in my next video.